And we're back with another episode of the Lakers Fast Break Podcast. Happy Memorial Day weekend, everyone. Hopefully, you and your family are having a safe and truly happy Memorial Day weekend. Hopefully, the grill is cooking, the hot dogs are right there for you, getting nice and juicy, and also as well, the hamburgers are flowing right there. It is, of course, the Lakers Fast Break. Truly appreciate you joining us. It's Gerald Glassford. Thanks so much again for watching and listening. Also, as well, go ahead and check out my other shows, The Pop Culture Cosmos and Inside Sports Fantasy Football. Pop Culture Cosmos, where we cover the latest news and trends in pop culture twice a week, once every week, wherever you get your podcasts. What's up, Eric? How you doing? Frank, the happiest man in all of our chat room. There he is indeed. A little bit nervous, but there's no reason to me, looks like. Yeah, no, because that's what I'm going to talk about here. It's about, do the Mavs stand a chance against the Boston Celtics? Because the NBA Finals are all but set after tonight's game. Yes, you were so nervous. Yes, it came down to the final 2 minutes, and I'll talk about that here in a sec. But go ahead and support our other great people who are part of the entire team here at the Lakers Fast Break, including Joe Soro, Mr. Man About Town. He has been Mr. Man About Arizona or the West Coast or the Southwest. Go ahead and check him out today at Simblades, simblades.com, and AskDocs1947 at LakersBall.com. The Lakerholics crew of Jamie Sweet and Laker Tom, they're at Lakerholics.com. Our good friend, John Costa, he is at Lakers Corner and Clutch Talk. Want to go ahead and give him a big shout out, support his stuff that he does, because I know he works hard on him. Also as well, Lakers in 5, which are on right now, Empire Jeff TV. Also as well, John McCanlian channel. All these great channels you can support, but please help us out by supporting us as well with a like, a follow, a subscribe, wherever you see Lakers Fast Break. It truly, truly helps us out. Well, the Dallas Mavericks and the Minnesota Timberwolves in Game 3 tonight, and as Frank said it, he was nervous because it was coming down the stretch to the final 2 minutes before the Mavs broke it open late to take a commanding 3-0 lead over the Minnesota Timberwolves. And the Minnesota Timberwolves look like they're on the ropes, just like the Indiana Pacers. And with Derek Lively II getting a neck sprain from a really nasty bump from the knee of Karl Anthony Towns, the only thing Karl Anthony Towns seemed to hit so far in the series. Without due, though, Daniel Gafford stepped up, got a clutch shot from PJ Washington, and also as well some good play from, of course, Luka and Kyrie, and that's been the key to the series. The stars have stepped up for Dallas, and only Anthony Edwards today has been the only time that the top two players for Minnesota have stepped up. And that's a shame for Minnesota. But you know what? All credit goes to the defense of the Dallas Mavericks for being able to make life hard for Karl Anthony Towns, who has yet to show up in the series. And in doing so, the self-professed best shooting big man in the NBA can no longer say that and no longer has any claim to that after an 0 for 8 performance from 3 and a terrible performance yet again for him in 3 games now. And the talk of him becoming the next James Harden, who can't get it done in the clutch, they're loud and clear. They're very loud and clear. So it's now up to the Dallas Mavericks to get the job done and the Boston Celtics to get the job done as fast as possible, because it is going to be the Dallas Mavericks and the Boston Celtics in the NBA Finals come June 6th. And Daniel Barry's calling it now. The Mavs will beat Boston. And Vern says NBA is about matchups. It's always about the matchups, and the matchups have, in this case, favored the Dallas Mavericks, and that it has. As the Dallas Mavericks win tonight, 116-107. They pull away in the last minute and a half of the game, and looks like it's going to be all but over as they face up against the Boston Celtics, most likely here in the not too distant future, June 6th to be exact. And I will tell you what, credit to the Dallas Mavericks for finding a game plan. Frank, Your friends at We Talk Mavs and the whole crowd cannot talk smack about Jason Kidd because you guys are one game away from an NBA Finals. And there you go. Did you have Dallas Mavericks on your bingo card for the NBA Finals? Outside of Frank, I'm not sure anyone did, but you know what? They got the job done, and they're getting it done now. So let's hope they can get it done further. All of us Laker fans now have to throw our weight behind. Dare I say it, Mark Cuban? Oh, now that hurt. But also as well, Jason Kidd and the Dallas Mavericks. That's not too bad, throwing the weight behind that. It's the Mark Cuban part. I think that pisses off a lot of people. But we are throwing our weight and our support behind the Dallas Mavericks. Hopefully they will get rid of the Celtics. Yes, Frank, they've had a cakewalk to the finals. People talked about the Lakers last year having their way to the Western Conference Finals. The Celtics have had an even easier ride to the NBA Finals, and that's a shame. Cool, bro. We do not have a head coach yet. If you just look at the description of our shows, we would probably tell you and probably title a show specifically on when or if the Lakers would have a head coach. That would probably be the title of a show. I'm just going to give you a hint. I'm just going to give you a little bit of foreshadowing, a little bit of future telling. I don't think the odds would be long on that. I think when they do decide upon a head coach, I think I will title a video after that. So you'll know then, just by reading the description on the shows, cool, bro, if we have a head coach yet or not. So just to let you know. So it is, of course, the Lakers Fast Break. Truly appreciate you joining us. I sent out word to the crew, but maybe they're enjoying a great Memorial Day weekend. And of course, it's closing in on midnight for Magic Man, so he may be asleep. Cool bro, Cool bro versus JSJ in basketball. I would go JSJ every time. Frank says it's funny how Celtics players and coaches are trying to act like underdogs. Yeah, Frank, give me a break on that one. I hear that from any time a 60+ win team advances in the playoffs. They always talk about, oh, we're the underdogs. I've heard that before. That's a bunch of baloney. That's terrible. That's ridiculous. They won 60 some odd games. They're going to be the favorite here in Vegas. They already are. So yeah, I don't want to hear it from them how they're the underdogs. So cool, bro. I'm just kidding you, man. I'm just kidding you. Vern says JJ Redick is going to be the coach. Wait and see. He's the leader in the clubhouse, but why haven't they made JJ Redick the coach yet? Maybe they'll do it after the Memorial Day holiday weekend. We'll see. Maybe right now, Rob Pelinka is cooking up the hot dogs on the grill, and he's getting ready to go ahead and call JJ Redick to come on over to go ahead and, serve him up some hamburgers and hot dogs and also a contract to become the Lakers head coach. We'll see. The Lakers need to get younger. Preaching to the choir, Vern. Preaching to the choir. Yep, but I don't think, you and I both know that's probably not going to be the case because LeBron James, even though the Lakers in 5 just put out there for what they wanted to do on one of their latest episodes that LeBron James may be leaving, he's not going anywhere. He's got $160 million contract. He will probably be offered here in a matter of weeks. He'll be offered that. In fact, they can start negotiating as soon as the NBA playoffs are over. So he can be offered a $160 million contract. He'll probably ask for a 2-year plus an option for a 3rd year, which would be the full 160. And yeah, that's just going to make our team older and more expensive. That's just not the way it should be. But Xbox, you're right. That's the key to this series. Karl-Anthony Towns. Karl-Anthony Towns starting to get a reputation of how he's not going to be able to get it done in the clutch. Called himself the best shooting big man in the history of the NBA. And that is now far from the truth after what we're seeing, especially today. 0 for 8 from behind the 3-point line. And that's, to me, is just, you put your money where your mouth is. You get it done when it counts the most. And he did have a couple good games in the series against Denver. He was a key to their success, but he had already had a reputation. He was growing as far as him not being able to get it done in the clutch, and this is not going to help him because he's had 3 bad games in a row when it counts the most for Minnesota. And credit Dallas defense on that, but also, just you got to give some of that credit to Cat for not being able to get it done. Second, what was it? Game 2, he got benched with like 7 minutes left in the game. Here he got benched for a little while. He came back into the game, but it's clear that he has lost his confidence and he has lost his rhythm, and that arrogance and swagger that he had in becoming the best shooting big man of all time, as he self-proclaimed, is not going to get it done. But we're going to see. But Mission 24, M24, great to have you here. The arrogance of Indiana is bleak. I hate it more than the Celtics trip to the finals. We'll catch up if they win it. Hopefully, again, Dallas will be able to get it done. So I think Minnesota should just do the honorable thing and just fold over for game 4 and let Dallas heal up so they can go ahead and basically try to do what they can to be at close to full strength as possible on June the 6th. Bloodhound says Minnesota's size is not helping against Dallas. They need to play small. Well, they really don't have many weapons when they start downsizing. They just don't have many options when they go small. They always got to play and utilize a Naz Reid, Rudy Gobert. But that's the thing, Rudy Gobert, and this has not been a good series for him as well. And maybe that's part of the reason why that they're not doing so well, because their defense has just not clicked enough. The defense, their drop coverage is an issue in this league. And the more drop coverage that you do, the more you get burned by it, seemingly. And McLaughlin talked a whole bunch of smack about the way he was going to guard Luka, and Luka has just owned him. And just as far as on the basketball court, dominated him. And basically, the defender that he is just not going to be. He's not getting it done. He's not getting it done. Not getting it done at all. So it is something that's going to be very interesting to see how this pans out with the NBA Finals. So yeah, absolutely. So. Commander Chewy, thank you for the super chat. Hello, brother. Can you please count to 20 in Spanish? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20 in Spanish. There you go. Muy bien. Gracias on the chat right there for you, Commander Chewy. Truly appreciate you offering that to us and paying us the $5 a Canadian right there. Cool Bro says, "Oh, Gerald, I don't think I told you this a few weeks ago. I was the first one to science class, so I pranked my science teacher by jump scaring her." Okay. All right. But, bro. Yes, bro. All right. My Espanol is not that good anymore. It's not muy bueno anymore. So I apologize for that, Commander Stewart. But I did try my best. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's about the best you're going to get from me on that one. Did I get Bloodhound? There you go. Gerald's on savage mode. Well, I understand that's probably something when you do the super chats, you think you can ask us to do anything that you want. I almost feel like I don't know. Joe would probably say it in his own inimitable words, and I'll let you go ahead and run your imagination. But I do the best I can here. I would actually take super chats and try to answer the best I can on Lakers super chats. Everything else is up fair game. So I do appreciate it. Do thank you for the super chats, and you're always welcome to go ahead and provide them. But I'll do the best I can to go ahead and answer as best I can. Try to do it there. Once again, it is the Lakers Fast Break. We are talking basketball and the Los Angeles Lakers. It is, of course, Gerald Glassford. Thanks again for watching, listening. Truly appreciate you joining us. Again, Dallas has taken a commanding 3-0 lead on the Minnesota Timberwolves, 116-107. I do want to mention as well that, of course, we will be by most of the week this week talking to you about the Los Angeles Lakers and also the NBA. As only we can. Truly appreciate it. Want to mention to Kurt Affair, if you are out there, my friend, I did get an answer for you on the NBA draft from a good friend, and that is, of course, Stone Hansen. If you're out there, my friend, Stone Hansen, in answer to my question in regards to Nikola Duricic, he is number 16 on Stone Hansen's board. And the Lakers pick 17. What do you know? So just letting you know that he has him as number 16 on his board. His quote is he has him at 16, best passer in this class, in his opinion, but not the best playmaker, the best passer. He's a good second side attacker who's best when he can get downhill. He's good enough to be a spot up shooter, as far as a good enough spot up shooter, but who has improved on his closeouts. But he is overall a poor defender. So, Kurt Affair, if you're watching, my friend, that's the synopsis that we got there from the man himself at report_court, and that is Stone Hansen. Mega Driver says, I don't think Dallas will beat the Celtics. They don't match up well. So, Mega, with all due respect, I love you having you here, but I'm hoping you are incorrect on that. And we all know why, because we don't want the Celtics to win under any cost. But I can understand why, because they've been basically playing at a high level so far. They've only lost twice so far in the NBA playoffs and have looked very good and do so. I don't know who would win, Cool Bro, because I never actually wanted nor cared to see either of you guys in a swimming competition. So I couldn't care less. The only swimming competitions I care about were my daughters. And it's not necessarily for competition, just the fact that they're just doing it for exercise and having fun. Frank says, I've been told many things throughout every series. You know what, Frank? More power to you. More power to our good friends at We Talk Mavs. Because We Talk Mavs, they're a great show. A couple of great guys. Frank knows this. And I'm happy for these guys that they're on the verge of heading back to the finals. It all depends on Luka and Kyrie. Can they get the job done against the defensive backcourt of Holiday and White? Frank, I think that's what it really comes down to. You're 3 and 4. Can Washington still hit shots? If he's still hitting shots at the level that he is in the playoffs, not during the season when he was 32%, you know what? You guys have more than a good chance. And Lively, I'm hoping that next strain is not going to be too serious. I know he was listed as questionable at one time, but then he was listed as out after he sustained it. So I think he'll probably be sat out of game 4. If the Mavericks still win it, they'll have plenty of time to rest. It should be okay. I'm just glad it's not a concussion, because it was looking pretty serious on that. That was a hell of a slam, though. If everybody saw that on Edwards' part, that was a man slam right there. Just unfortunately, Minnesota, for them, they didn't get more of that going forward. So that was terrible to see for them. But you know what? Great to see for Frank, because he's happy, and I'm happy for him that the Dallas Mavericks are one game away from moving on to the NBA Finals. I would say Magic Man, Cool Bro, because the fact he'd probably hit you with a low blow or two. Because remember, he's Canadian and loves hockey, and he'll think of trying to check you into the boards, literally. So we'll say that. Mega Driver says the Lakers could pick him at the 16. Remember, they pick at 17, but that would be a good pick. Europeans have the fundamentals down. Mega Driver, again, Stone thinks very highly of him. That's Nikola Duricic. He is, again, in his opinion, the best passer in the class, but not the best playmaker. Good enough spot-up shooter who's improved against closeouts, but he is a poor defender. So if we do get him, there you go, from Stone Hansen, what he needs to work on when he gets into the league. I mean, you've seen Kyrie and also as well Luka, they've stepped up on their defense when they've needed the most. They've been coming up clutch, and you have got to give both of those guys who Mavericks fans have been like Frank. He's probably been frustrated with their lack of defense at times during the course of the season, like we have been with LeBron. But you know what? In the playoffs, Frank will tell you, and I'll tell you, they've stepped it up when it counts the most on both ends of the floor. So we'll see. But Joe is in the chat from wherever he's at. Joe's in the chat. Joe's sending out the good vibes for the Dallas Mavericks. He says the Celtics are going to get smoked by the Mavs, and this is the Mavs team that shows up in the finals. Uh, Edwards still 22 coming up. You're right, Mega Driver. He has time. But what I hated to see were those comparisons against Michael Jordan. It's just that was just unwarranted. And let the kid be who he needs to be. Let the kid be the best Anthony Edwards he can be. So Sunday says the Mavs have got two killers. Yep. And again, I know it was asked to me last week about whether or not I regret or do we regret not picking up Kyrie? Because yeah, of course, when Kyrie has been the player and both on and off the court and the individual on and off the court that he has been since he's been with Dallas, if this is what you're going to get, then of course this is a bad mistake by Rob Pelinka. But I'm not sure you can totally blame Rob Pelinka on not going after Kyrie more vociferously because the fact of what you were dealing with when he was in Brooklyn, because it was a lot more fresh then. So Nico Harrison took the gamble and it paid off for him, and it's paid off really well for him in a trip to the NBA Finals, because I don't see Minnesota coming back and I don't see Indiana coming back too from those 3-0 deficits. Mega Driver says, what I feared the most of the Mavs is Jason Kidd as a coach. He is horrendous. You know what? I know that I've heard, when I go to We Talk Mavs and I see, and thank you, Cornelio, for liking the video on Facebook. When I go to We Talk Mavs and I go there, Mega Driver, and I go and I see with the conversations in the chat, and Frank could vouch for this, I see the level of disdain on kids for years now. I've seen the level of disdain as far as what they're doing. You know, they've questioning him at every turn. Like we always question Ham, we question other coaches, but the way we question Ham was very similar to the way they questioned Kidd for the past couple of years. And you know what? And stuff that you're going through in regards to Kidd looks like he's started to go ahead at the time that you guys need the most. He's been able to provide good game plan defensively and leave it up to Doncic and Kyrie to be the playmakers they needed to be. And when they're both scoring 33 points each, like they did tonight, you are not going to lose against. You're not going to be able to beat a team like that. So we'll see what happens. But it is, of course, the Lakers fast break. It's funny because Dwight Powell got a Dwight Powell signing there, Frank. 2 points, but you got a Dwight Powell because of what happened to Derek Lively. I'm hoping Derek Lively comes back because, again, I'm sure that you guys do not want to rely at all a single bit on Dwight Powell, which would be funny because, Dwight Powell's been there through the thick and thin and been the bane of your guys' existence through thick and thin as well. Yeah, he's getting the job done now, Frank. I can't say he's been perfect, but he's getting the job done. Yes, but flash rewind to a year ago, Frank, and I'm sure you guys are. When I was watching We Talk Mavs last season, just sensing how frustrated you guys were with his coaching at that point in time, and he was very similar in Ham in the way he would go and make those comments. Like the one where he was just a spectator, just like the rest of us. That one, I was just, I think that one was really angering a lot of Mavs fans. But, it's just good to see you guys now on the verge of getting to a finals. And all I'm saying is, please, for the love of God, get it done against the Celtics. Make sure those Celtics do not win number 18. That's all I ask. M24 says Gerald plus Corona familiar is crazy. Yes, I guess doing what I can as well. But it is, of course, the Lakers fast break. Gerald Glassford, right here for you. You know what, JSJ? A lot of us, including myself, underestimated Dallas. I am going to be first to admit I underestimated Dallas because I picked Minnesota. And I'm going to be man enough to say I was wrong and I called it wrong. And I'm very happy for Frank that I was wrong because the Minnesota team that I saw that did so well against Phoenix and did so well in those games against Denver, that's not the team I've seen. Their offense has been stagnant, but a lot of that has been due to the defense that has been thrown out there by Dallas. And you know what? Dallas has got it done and Minnesota hasn't. And When Cat was needed the most, he has not shown up in 3 games. And Ant, first 2 games, he was not there. And all it would have taken was just one of those two just stepping up just a little bit more. That could have been a difference from a 2 down 2-0 to up 2-0. And that was a difference right there for you. Frank said everybody underestimated Dallas. And you're right, Frank. Everybody did. Ox 1947, a.k.a. Joe, says only thing the Lakers are beating with this year's team is their own. Yeah, you can just fill in the blank there. Like Darvin was doing every time he had his hands in his pockets. Well, there you go. Another wise saying from Joe himself, wherever he's at right now. Frank says, I'm still think it would be surprising if Mavs can sweep, but I think Mavs wins the season. Well, statistically, Frank, they have got the series. No team has ever come back from a 3-0 deficit in the NBA playoffs to win. So statistically, they've got this series all wrapped up. And I'm going to go out on a limb and say they've got the series all wrapped up. It would be in our best interest to finish it off in game 4, because that would allow the team and Luka's trick knee to get more rest. But Frank, did anybody seriously on the Mavs fan base think that, Luka was going to be not playing today? All I read in the tweets was like, oh, he was questionable. He's going to be, we're going to see if he can gut it out today. I'm just like, bull. He is going to play. And sure enough, he did. Scores 33. He gutted it out so bravely. That's the one thing. Him and his playing it out, this drama with his trick knee. He's either going to play or he isn't. And we all know he's going to play. Yeah, Frank, he was definitely playing. M24, I put the word out to Sean. I don't know if he was sleeping already because it is midnight his time. Sometimes he is, sometimes he isn't. I know he and Nick were conversating earlier today, and I put out the playback for them if they can make, because I couldn't make it today. Was out and about, but all I say is that they were talking about the tragedy with Stan Van Gundy becoming aware. I guess he just made comments in the past few days that when his wife passed away earlier last year, his wife passed away from suicide and took her own life. And he has been devastated, obviously, as anyone would be if their significant others took their own lives since then. And he admitted that on the radio the other day. So him and Nick were talking about that back and forth. And our thoughts are with Stan Van Gundy on that in regards to his wife and his passing. And I'll say this, like I said it on the Pop Culture Cosmos, if you or a loved one have any issues or issues where you're thinking about that, even going down that road, there's national hotlines set up for suicide prevention that are easy, toll-free call away to call wherever you're at, anywhere in the world. So, please don't do it. There are good people out there. Your life's going to get better. And there's a lot of people that are out there that care about you. So that's my PSA for the day, but it is the Lakers fast break. JSJ says Dallas had a chance to improve at a team at the deadline. And the Lakers, they did. Give them credit. Give Nico Harrison credit. He got the job done, not just during the trade deadline, JSJ. He made the move and the trade to get the Derek Lively, the second pick. Because I believe, if Frank, correct me if I'm wrong here, they made the move that moved them back a couple spots to get Derek Lively. I'm not looking right now at the NBA trade for NBA draft order for this year. Maybe I should go ahead and look at it for last year. But see if who moved back. I think Dallas moved back in order to, the Mavericks traded. Yeah, the Mavericks dropped back to the Thunder so the Thunder could get Cason Wallace. Now, Cason Wallace, pretty good rookie, right? Derek Lively has been a sensational rookie as well. This one's where it's like it's a win-win, Frank. Both Dallas and also as well the OKC Thunder, they both have paid dividends with both Cason Wallace and then Derek Lively the second. But yeah, M24, Sam Van Gundy's wife did commit suicide. He did admit that on the radio the other day when she passed away I think it was late last year. So very sad to hear that. Now, that's what I think Magic and Nick were going back and forth on earlier today. But getting back, Frank, to what you're talking about with that, yeah, you guys made a killing. Nico Harrison made a killing at the trade deadline. He made a kill, getting PJ Washington, who has gotten it done, getting Daniel Gafford, who has gotten it done, and getting Derek Lively during the NBA draft, who's gotten it done. What did the Lakers do? They didn't get squad at the trade deadline, and they drafted 2 draft busts in JHS and Maxwell Lewis. And yeah, that's that's bad. So Xbox says, yeah, it is very sad. JSJ, yes, condolences absolutely to the Van Gundy family, but Xbox. I can tell you're not a fan of the TNT coverage. Well, you'll only have a year more of the TNT coverage that's coming up here because the TNT contract is going to be up after next season. So you won't have to deal with Reggie Miller unless he gets picked up by Amazon or NBC / Comcast / Peacock. So Frank Lively has exceeded expectations. Yes, he has. And it's going to be interesting to see how he will have to become the starter, and Gafford, who has played well, especially right now when you need him the most, you're going to say, hey, Gafford, hey, buddy, what's up? I'm going to have you go ahead and come off the bench. I know you really did well for us in the playoffs and all that, but yeah, they've got this kid Lively. He's going to have to start our games for us. So exactly. So Mission M24 says, I thought, yeah. Oh man. Oh man. Yeah, don't think of that stuff, man. If you're actually seriously thinking of that stuff at any point in time in your life, there are people you need to reach out to, and suicide prevention hotlines in every country on this planet that can go ahead and help you, and have good people that can talk to you and actually, make sure that you're not doing something that you would regret. So getting back to the game, though, getting back to what's going on with the Lakers and getting what's going back on with the NBA, it is the Lakers Fast Break. It's Gerald Gosper. I thought I'd drop in on a Sunday evening with you. Cannot thank you enough for joining us. JSJ says Kyrie is back in the finals. You know what, JSJ? Give him all the credit. Again, you could say we missed the trade and we blew it not trading for him, but you know what? Frank will tell you, those guys were nervous about getting Kyrie because they didn't know exactly which Kyrie they would get. But this is the Kyrie. This is the optimal Kyrie that they have gotten. The guy who's been shouting those crazy things and saying those crazy things and saying those idiotic and stupid things that he said in Brooklyn, and the flat earth and all the other stuff, the garbage that he was spewing out there in Brooklyn. So put that by the wayside, and all the stuff where he's, with the COVID shot and all that, put that by the wayside. And all he's been doing is focusing on basketball. And that's good for him. Good for him. He's become the player that everybody was hoping he would become. And maybe it's because he's hitting a older age in his career. He's now on the backside of 30. Maybe that's it. Maybe he's become wiser. Who knows? The thing was, and Frank will tell you, you guys were nervous probably after you signed him to that contract, which again was a more team-friendly contract because he wasn't going to get a full max because of the reputation and the number of games he would normally play on a regular basis. You've gotten much more than that from him this year than the value on that contract. So more props to you. Okay. Thank you, Ox, for sharing your thoughts on the Roadhouse movie. I did not think it was good either. I thought it was just kind of there, and didn't really enjoy it very much, but that's just me. Pale Fox says Kyrie is the GOAT and like half the population. Okay. Again, you guys are going into all that stuff. I don't want to discuss that as far as the shot is concerned and all that. That's your opinion. I respect it on that, and I'll leave it at that. But I will say this, though, that give Kyrie credit. After all the BS and all the stuff he was spewing, he straightened himself out. got himself on the right track. I'm just happy he did not go off the rails after the contract that he signed with the Dallas Mavericks. You could have easily gone back to the old Kyrie that everybody hates, but you know what? He decided he wanted to go ahead and get this team going and play with this team at a level that they're really playing at. So credit Frank, credit to the Dallas Mavericks for being able to foster and nurture a foundation for Kyrie to thrive on. And I'm assuming because he enjoys playing with Luka, those two have meshed really well. And you saw the fruits of that today with both getting 33 points, getting you the kind of playmaking and distribution that you have. Pale Fox says, I hate your Kyrie narrative. Why do you hate my Kyrie narrative, Pale Fox? I don't understand why you would hate that Kyrie narrative. It's the truth. It's out there. I mean, it's what it is. He said that stuff. It was in Brooklyn right there. He obviously, Durant and Harden didn't want to deal with it anymore. They jetted. He jetted. He became a completely different player. And there it is. He became a completely different player, completely different outlook, left the BS behind in Brooklyn. And there you go. So I don't know what you're talking about, Pale. It's just the truth. It's just the narrative that's out there. It's not a narrative. It's the truth. He became a completely different player. Well, again, whether he wised up because he's older now, wiser player or whatnot, he just left all the BS behind in Brooklyn and went from there. So Sports Baby says, hey lads, Sports Baby, I know that your season is on the line coming up here in the not too distant future. I'm sorry to see. I know Indiana, you're really not happy about them right now. Again, got farther than Lakers, so you should be proud of your team on that. Sports Baby says Dallas changed him, and you know what? Playing with Luka has changed him a lot. And credit Luka and the Dallas Mavericks for providing an environment that he has flourished off of. So Xbox says Connor's taken so many. Okay, you guys are crazy. Guys are going off the rails on this episode, but okay. It is, of course, the Lakers fast break. I was hoping that Kurt Affair would stop by because I did, again, as earlier I mentioned, I had an answer to his question from a good friend, Stone Hansen. But at number 17, we will find out here in less than 5 days exactly whether or not we keep or have to give up the number 17 pick. I'm probably say the odds are very strong that we're going to be keeping the number 17 pick, that I don't think the New Orleans Pelicans are interested in. Oh, no worries. No worries, Xbox. It's all good. It's all good, my friend. But yes, I think that number 17, the Lakers need to start really doing their due diligence and need to hit really big on this one if they want to go ahead and stay competitive in the Western Conference, because when you have the Minnesota team that's number 3 and the Dallas team that's number 5 in the Western Conference Finals, they're both looking like they will be there for some time to come. You've got to go ahead and do what you can to start hitting on all cylinders. And do I trust Rob Pelinka to go ahead and do that? That I don't know. I don't know. JSJ, Gerald, Rob will draft another guard because he always drafts guards. We'll see, JSJ. I mean, if he drafts the right guard, that's okay. I mean, there's some guards that may fall. If Ron Holland falls, I think you get to take a chance to pick him up. If Isaiah Collier drops, might want to take a chance on him, and because that guy I think is a pretty good scorer and can become a pretty good player in the league. But I don't know. We'll see. I mean, can't get any worse than JHS. No worries, Xbox. You're good. Quabina, what's going on, my friend? The Timberwolves are allergic to Kyrie Sage. He'll be doing the arena before the game. Well, they're allergic to something right now. At least I can say the guy that's going to be allergic is Cat. Now, the question is, will Cat be on the trading block this summer? Because Karl-Anthony Towns has not gotten it done for anything on that. Frank says, would you all trade your pick for Josh Green? I don't know how much Josh Green helps us, Frank, but can't do I mean, that number 17 pick in a weak draft, it should not be a very strong player, or does not project out to someone that is going to be a vital rotation player in the league right now. A 17 player picked in a weak draft is probably going to get too far. Josh Green can play some rotation minutes. He has played some rotation minutes for you guys, although Hardy has kind of picked up his minutes. I saw Hardy, what was it, late last round, where he got more utilized in the rotation than what we saw out of Green. But Green, Josh Green giving you a solid 3 points today in 25 minutes. I know that for you guys, the bench output, I'm sure you're not totally pleased with that, Frank, but you know what? You guys got it done regardless. Today, it's all about matchups. They're playing their starters. You guys are playing their starters. Minnesota's playing their starters. So relying on that. Josh Green, he did play 25 minutes, only 3 points, but you know what? Again, providing solid defense. I could help the Lakers. So yeah, I would be interested. I wouldn't just hang up the phone on Dallas if that was the case, because you got to look at that. M24 says Gerald's an alien. Okay, it's something I didn't know, but all right. Xbox says the sumo wrestlers do some ritual before they fight Luke. Okay, all right. You guys are just going off. JSJ says, yep. Gerald, thoughts on Stan Van Gundy as an assistant with JJ as the head coach? Not a chance. Not a chance on that one, because the fact, I mean, you guys don't even like SVJ, period. And to have him as an assistant with JJ, I know your thoughts on JSJ. I know you're not a big fan of JJ. I'm not exactly thrilled with it either, because, having a podcaster become your head coach is not exactly the best thing in the world for me either. But SVJ, that pressure and that heat is there if he becomes the lead assistant. Ox 1947 says, my thoughts on the Lakers right now is I have very little thoughts, much like they don't. There you go. That's Joe for you. Sports Baby, thank you so much for the super chat. It is truly appreciated. This is my monthly membership, boys. Hey, more power to you. And we're going to try and give you as much of the Lakers Fast Break in return as possible. Sports Baby, truly appreciated. I don't know if you want your Indiana Pacers to go ahead and try to finish this out as best they can. We'll see what happens. I do know that without Halliburton, it's going to be a tough for them, but 2 heartbreaking losses, man. Minnesota and Indiana both will be this summer thinking about what happened. They both should have been up, and they both didn't get it done when it counted the most. But truly appreciate it, Sports Babies. Eduardo, what's up? The Mavericks team is 2020 Lakers, no doubt. I see it. They also got Jason Kidd, Jared Dudley. Yes, I know. Markieff Morris, all part of that 2020 championship team. This is on Pelinka. I'm not a big fan of Jared Dudley, as I've said before on this show, but you know what? He is there. He's on the coaching staff, and you got to give him and Jason Kidd credit on building a defense that has done a good job on Anthony Edwards. I can tell you right now, I'm kind of disappointed in Cat, because Cat has had plenty of open looks and just not hit the shots when it's mattered the most. And this guy who has constantly said he's the best shooting big man of all time, it's absolutely just wrong for him to say that. You knew that would come back in his face when he said that, and it has at the wrong time if you're a Minnesota fan. So the thing is, I think that now he is playing his way out of Minnesota, because with his big contract, I don't think Minnesota wants to go ahead and continue on with utilizing him there if he's sucking up all that money and all that salary cap, and he's not helping you get it done. JSJ says Mavs have Dudley and Morris from the 2020 team. Yes, they do. Dudley is a assistant coach, and Morris is still in the league. But big shout out to Sports Baby. I truly cannot thank you enough for supporting us here, especially the fact you are an Indiana Pacers fan, and it's truly appreciated. Bloodhound says, please do not let the Celtics win. Yes, Frank. It's all on you, Frank. It's all on you. So I'm kidding you, Frank. I'm kidding you, Frank. It's not you, all on you. Just kidding. It's all on the Celtics now. We're all rooting for we're all rooting for the Mavs to beat the Celtics. We're all rooting for the Mavs to beat the Celtics. So truly appreciate the the support the sports baby gives. But Frank, absolutely, 76ers is a real franchise. We'll find out, Frank. Remember, they have a ton of cap space this offseason, so they may be able to add some pretty good pieces. But how many pieces they add and what they add, we'll wait and see. But yeah, Mission 24 says, where would the Lakers fans be without the LFB? Where would the LFB be without fans like you, M24? It is greatly appreciated. Xbox says he said after game he putting up 1,500 threes a day. The panel where, yeah, exactly. Just don't talk that stuff. If you're Cat, do not talk that talk if you're not going to back it up. I mean, when you go 0 for 8 in a game that your team desperately needs, you cannot be saying that stuff and not coming in to produce. So it's really, really disappointing for Minnesota fans that they're getting this for a guy that's taking so much of their cap space. But you know what? I think that Cat will become available in the offseason. I really think he's playing his way out of Minnesota at this point in time because of what you're seeing now. So, I mean, obviously you want to build your team around Anthony Edwards, and it's looking more and more like that's going to be the case. But it is the Lakers Fast Break. Truly appreciate you joining us. Joe says, ha. Okay. Eduardo says, true. I found this channel after a regular season game. I liked what you all talked about. Not sure if it was after an L or probably it was Joe ranting, Eduardo, and yelling and screaming after a loss, probably to Brooklyn or Houston or something like that. One of Joe's epic rants. But I am very grateful that you're here, Eduardo, and everyone else that's here, as long as you're not asking me to count to 20 in Spanish like that happened earlier. EasyBX says Porzingis competing against Dallas in the finals is very interesting. Absolutely. You know they're going to bring that trade up to death as far as Porzingis when he gets back, because he looks like, what was it, game 4? He was expected to be back or in and around that time. Now, if you're the Celtics, you might also just rest him, not have him come back in game 4, just have him wait until June 6th. But yes, Joe says he speaks for the common man when the common man doesn't. Okay, there you go. Frank said, yes, JSJ, he is ranting in the chat, absolutely. But it is, of course, the Lakers Fast Break. Eduardo says, oh, Joe, baby, why aren't you drunk? It's Memorial Day. I don't even know where Joe is at this point in time. He is somewhere in the Southwest, whether it's California, Nevada, Arizona, somewhere. Joe says he's going to get drunk tomorrow. So everybody be warned out there. Joe will get drunk tomorrow. If you've seen the episode where Joe gets drunk on live, where he said he wasn't drunk, but he actually was, because he kept telling himself he was effed up. Yeah, that was classic. That was classic. But JSJ says Kyrie and Porzingis, Tingus Pingus, facing their old teams in the finals is quite the story. Yeah, it will be quite the story. The guy, Kyrie, who said he was going to be a Celtic for life, and Porzingis, who thought he was going to be the key player alongside Luka with that future, and that didn't go well as either. M24 says Joe rants are classic. They are, I will admit, they are classic. A lot of people out there like them, so I'm grateful that you guys watch and stay with us, and that you like Joe's ranting on whatever subject it is. Xbox says, Gerald, is Intel going okay? Might not ask, but always good to check on the regular chat people. I've not seen or heard from Intel in quite some time. I'm hoping he's okay. I'm hoping he's well. I know he is at one time one of our greatest supporters. I don't think we did anything to upset him. I think he's just living life, and I'm hoping he's doing well. But again, I've not heard from him. I don't know. I don't think I have his email, but if I can do, maybe I should just try to reach out just to make sure he's okay. Ox says 1 trillion evaluation is enough for those scumbags. Okay. All right. Well, there you go. Joe says, what blank face at Google throws random commercials in the middle of a show all of a sudden? That's called Google. It's called YouTube. There you go. Enjoy it. They want you to pay for the premium, Joe. Oh, thank you, Xbox. Appreciate it. They want you to pay for the premium that has no ads. That's the idea, Joe. But once again, it is the Lakers Fast Break. It is Gerald Glassford. Thanks so much again for watching and listening. Truly appreciate it. As Sports Baby says, yeah, Joe, I get this commercial every time. What the heck? So that's funny. But I thank everybody for being a part of what we're doing. Truly appreciate it. It is, of course, Gerald Glassford. I cannot thank you much enough for doing so, for stopping by on this Memorial Day weekend. Yeah, I wonder how that is, JSJ. I mean, Google at its craziness, but YouTube, what are you going to do with all those ads? That's crazy. I know I get them too when I'm on YouTube, even when I'm opening up a different window and watching you guys and trying to monitor the chat with it in another YouTube. You know, when there's someone out there in the chat that I don't want in there, yeah, I get the ads too. So that's crazy how that works out. But who's out here? Oh, the legend. How you doing? Good evening, everyone. Golden State Warriors and Atlanta Hawks hometown fan here. Love you all podcast show. I do a sports show on my YouTube channel too. Keep up the good work, bro. Best wishes to you as well. Appreciate the Legend 350. Continued success for you guys. Golden State. You guys got a lot to talk about there. If you're a Golden State Warriors fan, about what future beholds you. You know, people talk, should you keep Clay or should you not keep Clay? Is he spent? Is he done? Is he washed? Is he not? You know, Clay's going to be expecting a lot of money. And I said earlier that I thought the Grayson Allen contract in around $18 million sets the bar for a specialist like him who shoots the three-pointer. Well, what is that worth? So in and around there, that's maybe what Golden State should offer him. I know he'll probably want more. We'll see if he gets more. I know that maybe his value might be less. Again, love to hear your thoughts on that as far as where you think Klay Thompson's value is for the future, because he is a free agent. And as far as the Atlanta Hawks, the Legend 350, you've got the number one draft pick. Only thing, it's not in the strongest draft ever. So I know Risa Shea and also as well Sar, that's the big decision right now for many people in the NBA as far as at the top of the mock drafts. Also, are you guys considering in Atlanta maybe going Donovan Clingan, or are you thinking about going somewhere else in another direction? Maybe one of the the Kentucky guys, Reed Shepherd or Dillingham. Do you want to go defense with Stephon Castle? Do you want to go to shooter with Dalton Knecht or Ron Holland? Did he drop that far, or Ron Holland can be a great scorer? Are you set and thinking that maybe he'll be a great scorer league? A lot of things to talk about, a lot of things to decide. Buzelis. I am not as high on Buzelis because Sar really played so much better against Buzelis when they were both playing against each other, when they were matched up against each other. And they were playing actually down the road for me here in Henderson, Nevada. It was like earlier this year. Was it earlier this year? It was late last year. But anyways, yeah, it's Legend says they've definitely got a lot to talk about on the Warriors and the Hawks. Plan to do my podcast show tomorrow night. Well, Legend, if you ever get a chance, hit me up, LakersFastBreak@yahoo.com. Love to have you on the show because we love talking to specialists from all around the league, talking about their teams. We always love to do advanced previews on every team during the month of August. And early September, we love to go ahead and go around the league and have a specialist from each and every team. But if you can't come then, you can come anytime you want. You're more than welcome to stop on by, come on the air. I'd love to have you on. It is, of course, the Lakers Fast Break. We have as many people as we can come on the air, talking about their thoughts, talking about their teams, and also talking about what their opinions are on the Lakers, because we love to get outside opinions on the Los Angeles Lakers as well from individuals who support and follow strictly other teams. What are their thoughts on what the Lakers are doing? It's always good to see what other people think about the Lakers and get that inside thoughts from them as well. So I said Clay is worth 18 million when he's very healthy. That's the question. After, as Joe said it, and other people have said it, after you have an ACL and an Achilles, how much is left? You can clearly see that that he has lost a step defensively, and the way he was 0 for 10 in that final game against Sacramento, that's not good if you're trying to look for some cash in the offseason. That's the only thing is how good or how much does Clay have left? That's sure. I mean, Frank says Clay's knees are cooked. That's a very good possibility that, that happened. I mean, a knee, then an Achilles. So we'll see. Joe says the Lakers are likely trading the 17 pick. That's a possibility. But in a weak draft, what are you going to get? Who are you going to get for that 17th pick? Frank made a good suggestion of Josh Green. He might be at the level of player we can get for that 17th draft pick, which is going to be a medium pick in the first round in a draft that's not very good. So we'll see. Frank says he wants that pick. So he's eyeing somebody. I can see Frank already by saying that he's eyeing somebody that might be there. So JSJ says he wants Khalil Ware. Khalil Ware, the only thing, JSJ, it looks like he may be able to stretch it out to the 3 because he did shoot well from the 3, but didn't shoot very much of it in college. The only thing is he going to be able to translate into a pro game? Because look at his free throws. His free throw percentage touch is not that good. He needs to improve his free throws to at least get in the 70s for me to feel more comfortable about how dependable his shot can be. Otherwise, a decent defensive center can go ahead and protect the rim for you. He is athletic, can play alongside AD. And I think that's something, if we get a big guy, that would be my chief thing that I would say is he would have to be able to be good enough to play with AD and without AD while AD sitting on the bench. JSJ says, I hope they don't pick another JSJ. Says that, first of all, if Rob does, JSJ, if he gets another flop, that means that does not bode well for the Lakers. And also, I think you could pretty much count out Rob as, an evaluator, and going forward, they're probably going to find a way to get rid of him if that's the case. But I says I want a big man for the 17th pick. Filipowski could be there. Khalil Ware. I do know that a lot of people are still talking about Yves Missy, who's a 7-footer out of Baylor, who might be in and around that area. Tristan Da Silva. I know that Stone Hansen has liked him. He's a 6'10" power forward out of Colorado. And then also as well, of course, I would be remiss if I didn't say it, Zach Edey. He is going to be in and around that, available around that area most likely as well. He is the 7'5", 300-pounder. So we'll see if that happens. But I just don't think you can pair him and AD on the floor at the same time. Yeah, I don't think you can play two bigs like that, Eric, on the floor. That's rough. What we're seeing with Minnesota, Eric, where playing 2 7-footers can and work against you and can work for you. I mean, playing 2 7-footers against Dallas worked out really well, didn't it? And it's not working out well for Minnesota this time around because they're just not getting it done. But it also hurts you when your 7-footer named Karl Anthony Towns is going 0 for 8 from the 3-point line and having a absolutely miserable 3 games. I believe he and Ant, in those first 2 games, their poor shooting was the difference in games 1 and 2. And this time, his poor shooting as a whole was the reason why they didn't get it done. And give credit to Dallas's defense for being able to step up and making it uncomfortable for Ant and Cat for most of the series. Terrence Shannon, that's risky though. He does have the rape charges currently against him. That is a trial that's going forward, JSJ. And I don't think the thing I say about that is we'll see where that is in the stages of a trial. Is that going to go ahead and continue when the draft comes up? If it gets, the trial does get disbanded, if it does get dismissed, then obviously it frees Shannon up to climb back up those draft boards. But if there's still a rape trial that's pending, right, or in and around the time of the NBA draft, no worries, JSJ. I was just using it as a source of conversation. But yeah, Terrence Shannon, that's going to be a very risky thing for as far as out there, as far as if any team wants to go ahead and get him, depending on his legal status in and around that time. But yep, it is the Lakers Fast Break. I truly appreciate you joining us. I've been hanging out with you for the past hour. Wanted to make sure we get in another great show for you. Eves Missy, yes, Eric Kwan, out of Baylor. He's a 7-footer, 229. Got great athletic ability, or very good athletic ability, I should say. Can block shots. Good on the offensive rebounds. He's not able to stretch it out. He's just a dunker for you. He's just a big athletic dunker, 7-footer, 225. It's going to be someone that's going to be able to be good in the pick and roll. Maybe he could be a little bit better as far as the attention to awareness. What I've seen on the footage that I have, and what I've seen him in games in Baylor, he's been a little bit he's been good as far as rim protection, been solid there. But does that translate into the league, or does that not translate what we've seen with Jackson Hayes, who is also athletic, a good rim runner, but he is absolutely absent when it comes to protecting the rim on the other end. So that's what I worry about. I says, how would the Lakers squad look for the upcoming 24-25 season? At this point, as Joe and I talked about it first at the end of this season. I just don't, it's not a good mix right now. You're about ready to sign LeBron to a most likely a very fat extension. And then you're about to most likely retain, or at least offer D'Lo to come back and retain. And that's going to cost you a bit of money. You're going to be at the second apron or over. And then you're not going to have a team that's going to have any depth. We had our supposed depth that we had, that I even thought we had. So that I thought we had, is not going to be, did not materialize. And it's just a shame because, the Lakers had every opportunity to go ahead and get better and just didn't do it. And that's going to be a shame. So if that's the case, we're just going to go ahead and have to deal with Boston facing off against Dallas here. Looking forward to Dallas beating Boston and saving us from dealing with Boston getting number 18. Dallas looking like they're going to be now getting into the final round, getting into the NBA Finals here very soon. So looking forward to it. Credit to Kyrie and his gray hair, M24. That's funny. But we'll see. Why did you delete the Celtics fan? I didn't delete. I just deleted his message. He's still on. He's still available. He can watch. He's still available. I didn't time him out. I just deleted the message because I don't want to see it. He's still there. You can go ahead and talk to him, Joe. I'll do what I want to do. Who runs the channel? Not you, Joe. Moi does. Me. I'll do what I want to do. If you have an issue with it, get on this show and say it. What's up, Kurt? I have the answer for you that you were asking for. I answered it earlier in the show, but in talking to Stone Hansen, I wanted to mention to you that regards to your question regarding Nikola Dursic, he is 16 right now, currently on Stone Hansen's board, Kurt Affair. He is the best passer in this class, in his opinion. He's not the best playmaker. He's the best passer, not the best playmaker. He's a second side attacker who's best when he can get downhill. He's a good enough spot up shooter who has improved against closeouts, but he is a poor defender. but he is currently number 16 on the board, which would be in and around where the Lakers are picking at number 17. So wanted to get that to you, Kurt. Just wanted to make sure you know. And, when you guys ask questions, if I don't have the answers to, or if you want me to give the shout out to Stone Hansen, our NBA draft expert, I go ahead and make sure I do so. So, Joe, I will do what I want to do when it comes to this channel. You don't have anything on me on this one, so you can bite me. But anyways, it is, of course, the Lakers Fast Break. It is Gerald Glassford. Thanks so much again for watching this and truly appreciate it. Darren says, how far are we into this? I'm at the beginning. About an hour in, about ready to close up shop, my friend, because I thought that Magic Man may have joined, but it's midnight, so he may be resting right now. So maybe had too much of the hot yoga classes. So Curtis says, shout out to you and Stone. No worries, Kurt. Again, you guys ask the questions, and if I don't have Stone here to answer them, I go ahead and I'll reach out to him at report_court on Twitter. If you guys have Twitter, you guys should follow him. He has several reports a day. He has several tweets a day. He's no longer doing any like real big articles like he used to do in the past. He's just doing it off of Twitter. And then, of course, the show that he is returned to with his friends, Upside Swings and UpsideSwings.com. So hopefully you get a chance to check out his work there, or also as well at report_court on Twitter. But yeah, he is reporting and taking in a whole bunch of footage on the actual prospects for the NBA draft. So it's really good to get that kind of insight, because he is putting in now that he was trying to step away from it after last year's draft because he wanted to move on to a different part of his life. But looks like, as Al Pacino said in The Godfather 3, the world of the NBA draft sucked him back in. But Kurt Affair says, hope Magic Man. Yes, I hope he is detained in a good way, which he couldn't join us tonight. So JSJ says Magic Man is the adult Disneyland where real. Also true, JSJ. Joe and I live vicariously sometimes through Magic Man, and I'll leave it at that. But do you think Day'Ron Holmes II is a reach at number 17? That is a good question, Eric. I think he's solid. From what I've seen, I haven't seen too much footage on him. I've only spent about 10, 15 minutes on him, not just the highlights, but actually watching game footage of him. Solid scorer, decent rebounder. I like the assists. The fact that he's a pretty good passer for me, that's what stuck out to me. Block shots, the kid can block shots. He is 6'10". So if you are going to go best player available, I don't think he's too much of a reach, because right now he is mid to low 20s on most NBA draft mocks I've seen, Eric. So I don't say it's too far of a stretch. Again, good size, 6'10", 225. Can score the basketball, 22 points, or excuse me, 20 points a game. Averages out to about 22 points, for every 36, 48 minutes. Yeah, I think he'd be solid. I think he'd really be a solid choice. His rebounding is okay. And then again, can block shots because he's very athletic, and he's a good passer, a good assist for a guy of his size. So wouldn't be a bad choice. I would not be too upset about that if that happens. I just think that if you are looking and endearing yourself into guys such as Bronny James or Zach Edey, I think this is where you get yourself in trouble. I don't know if he could stretch out the floor, Day'Ron Holmes, because he did shoot 38% in college, but that doesn't always translate. So I'll have to see it in practice to see if it actually can translate to the NBA game. But Ox 1947, even if he got there, the Lakers won't have a damn clue who he is and not pick him. That's the confidence Joe has, and I can't say I have much more confidence in the front office. So I can't say I blame you. Darren says the best shooting big man was there, Dirk. Darren, I would be I would probably have to say I agree with you on that one, because it's certainly not Cat, and Cat is not getting it done now. Cat is absolutely not getting it done now when his team needs it the most. And I expect Karl Anthony Towns. I know that was the major point of contention between the ownership battle, was the fact that Alex Rodriguez and his group wanted to offload some salary in the offseason. Was one of the first things that they outlined in their business plan. And obviously one of the first places that you would go ahead and offload some money is Karl Anthony Towns. Well, that's not looking so bad right now, because if you decide to trade Karl Anthony Towns, someone's going to bite on him, and someone's going to go ahead and take a chance on him and see if they can go ahead and make something good out of him. And you're going to offload some assets in exchange that might still keep Minnesota at or near the top of the Western Conference. But Ox says, I expect Cat to continue his delusion that he's the best shooting big man ever while he misses every clutch shot. There you go. I can't say you're wrong on that one. Eric says maybe New York would want Towns. I'm not sure. It's a good question. Remember, they've got Randall. So they're going to try hard to offload Randall's salary in the offseason, I would imagine. So I would imagine that they would do that because they want to try to re-sign Anunoby. Anunoby is a priority for them. So they will be looking to move Randall, because I don't think Randall is no longer a good fit for what they're doing in New York going forward. Frank says it's going to be hard to move Cat without attaching assets to him. He's going to be paid nearly $60 million a year. They'll try to move it, Frank. I have a feeling they're going to try very hard to move Cat in the offseason. Ox says, I would send Cat to Atlanta for Trey. So that seems kind of redundant there with Mike Conley, because you got a small guard. You would have to ask Mike Conley to come off the bench, which I'm sure he would do at this stage of his career. So if you got Trey, you could do that. But again, you'd have to deal some assets. I agree with Frank. Since it's close to $60 million a year, I think you'd have to go ahead and throw some assets in there. Ant's dunk was really ridiculous. Absolutely, SB. Ant's dunk was ridiculous. Ox 1947 says Trey and Ant can diffuse the Kyrie and Luka backcourt that way. That's a good point. Absolutely. You've got the offense there, and that could offset it. Definitely could offset it. Then you're just dealing with the front lines and see if which one this could be. Yeah, absolutely. Ox says it's time for new younger blood. Well, that's what I say about the Lakers. But then again, you and I both know, Joe, they're about to get a little older when they re-sign LeBron, and most likely sign D'Lo as well. Xbox says LeBron is old as hell. 2 for baller. Yep. Yeah, he's going to be signed soon. You know this, Xbox. You hear us every day. You know that this team cannot avoid keeping LeBron. This team wants to do everything to keep LeBron and make LeBron happy. So we're just a few weeks away from him signing an extension with the Lakers. He's going to opt out, and the Lakers are going to sign him a sweet 3-year, 2+1 extension that gives him all the options and gives him all the benefits. And I'm not going to say I like it, because I don't, but what are you going to do? It's LeBron James. It's what the Lakers want to do. And yeah. SB says, how is LeBron signing $65 million going to affect the Lakers? Not well, SB, because you got to remember, when they sign him to that kind of contract and that kind of money, plus if they sign D'Lo at whatever he's going to make, that's going to put them close to that second apron, or at or over the second apron, which will prevent them from making moves the way a normal team would over the course of the coming year. And that's going to be a problem. That's going to restrict what you can and cannot do going forward if you get over that second apron. So Xbox says, I want young blood so bad. Well, tell that to Rob, because he's about ready to sign LeBron, and that's going to make our team even older. Frank says, I don't think that duo works with Trey and Ant. Trey can easily get lost on defense and at times lack awareness. It's a good point, Frank. Defense, until Trey's defense does prove to get better, he's going to always have issues with that. And A lot of people say that will prevent him from going far anywhere. He'll never be able to get, I mean, he had that run to the Eastern Conference Finals. People are now saying it's a fluke that happened because of the fact that, it was like the Celtics. You had a lot of things go your way in getting to the Eastern Conference Finals. So we could very well see that happen. And Trey's defense, I think for him to prosper in this league and get the team to where you want to go in the playoffs, his defense has to get better. And I agree with you on that, Frank. Kurt Avera says, everyone, please like and subscribe. It helps with the algorithm. Yes, it does. Every time you like and subscribe, it gets the more word out there on what we do here at the Lakers Fast Break. Again, it's me, Gerald Glassford. Thought I'd stop on by to go ahead and recap Game 3 with the Mavericks now firmly in control, and a smiling Frank here in the chat, 3-0, with Game 4 coming up tomorrow, I believe, between the Pacers and the Celtics. That series is all but over as well, and yeah, looks like it's on the 6th will be Dallas, hopefully being able to save the day for us against the Boston Celtics. So we'll see what happens. But yeah, Monday, it is 5 o'clock, Celtics and Pacers. I will have playback up, hoping the guys or myself can stop on by to go ahead and chat with you during the course of playback, and we'd be glad to do so. But again, always just great to have you here. SB says, yeah, Luka's injury hasn't healed. To be honest, pretty sure there was one play in tonight's game where he tweaked it slightly. He likes his dramatics. I will give you that. I think Frank would even acquiesce a little bit to that. He does like his drama. He likes the attention put on him. And that knee injury, yes, I understand the knee hurts. I get the knee hurts, but telling me that he's questionable, that they're going to see, it's kind of iffy, it's kind of 50-50 on whether he was always going to play in this game. Frank knew it. I knew it. Everybody out there knew he was going to play this game. It's just ridiculous that you're insulting our intelligence that he's not going to play this game today. He's going to test the knee and all that. Give me a break. He was always going to play this game. You and I both know. Frank says, luckily, Luka doesn't rely on speed or athleticism. Yeah, he's just got to have the ability to go ahead and do his step backs, which again, Minnesota has not been able to figure out. It's a simple move that he keeps doing, and you keep getting suckered into it. So I'm just hoping that Boston will do the same thing, not be able to understand how to guard it, and that Luka will go off on them for 4 games. Mission 224 says, if the Celtics win, Gerald must... No. I'm not going to shave my head. No. Talk to the Magic Man or Joe on that one. But no. Sorry. I haven't got much of it left. I ain't going to shave it off. My gosh, it probably won't come back. Eisen says, hell no, he won't have very much. Can we swap Rob Pelinka for Jerry West? At this point, anybody, Eisen, Jerry West and Frank Vogel, as much as I would love to have those guys back, they are not coming back. The Lakers burned their bridges with both those guys. When the Lakers took away the lifetime seats for Jerry West, that's a bridge burner right there, Eisen. That is absolutely terrible of the Lakers to do that. Joe's gone off on it. I've gone off on it. That is inexcusable that you got rid of those lifetime seats that Mr. Buss always promised Jerry West. And, by doing that, you burned your own bridge there with him. And of course, Frank Vogel is never coming back. He's got 3 years. He could sit on the beach for 3 years and collect $20 more million or thereabouts, $18 million or thereabouts. Why would you want to come back to the team that just fired you 2 years ago? Unless you're a glutton for punishment. Absolutely not. Ox 1947 says, talking about Bronny James, the words that were said by Rich Paul that Bronny will not accept a 2-way contract. As you heard me on the Friday show, that irked me. That really irked me. And I thought that was very disappointing for the for anyone out there that wants to go ahead and be interested in draft, if they were legitimately interested in drafting him, that's just arrogance. That's just arrogance. But again, to me, he doesn't have the talent of someone who's ready to play in the NBA. I think he needs 1 or 2 or 3 more years in the NCAA, but we'll see if he does decide to go back and he's going to get better advice. I'm hoping cooler heads will prevail when it comes to Bronny, and he'll be able to go ahead and understand that he's just not ready for what the NBA is offering, and to go back and make the smart move. But Hot Joe says, I already know he is an NBA player. He isn't. He isn't. Daniel Berry says, let's steal Kyrie and Lively from Dallas. I don't think there's a chance of that happening now, Daniel. We had our chance on Kyrie. Lively, Rob wasn't going to trade up that far. He wasn't going to give what was necessary to go up that many slots. Credit Nico Harrison. He made the trade to move down. So he not only got a bonus, I think he got an extra draft pick too, Frank, if I'm not mistaken, and he got the ability to move down. Oklahoma City, they got Cason Wallace, number 10, and Dallas moved down to number 12. I got a little side thing on the side for it as well, and also got Derek Lively. So it turned out to be a win-win trade because Cason Wallace played well for OKC, and Dallas has, of course, really benefited from Derek Lively. But yeah, an extra pick from the Kings. Yeah, thank you, Frank. Yeah, I knew it was some type of extra bonus. The team that moves down always gets a kicker or a kickback for moving down, and that's what the Dallas did. And not only do they get an extra pick from the Kings, they got Derek Lively, who has really turned out to be a good player for them. Again, I'm hoping the kid's going to be okay. That was a nasty injury. I'm just glad it wasn't a concussion, just a sprained neck, and hopefully he can rest. Hopefully they won't need him for Game 4, and they'll go ahead and be able to get it done in the NBA Finals and be able to go ahead and get it done there. But Ison says Darvin is collecting 2 years of Lakers salary. Yes, he is. He's on the books for 2 more years, Ison. Vogel's on the books and the Suns for 3 more years. And Darvin is on the hook for 2 more years. And whatever coach we get is going to end up being paid, what, 6-7 million? If they're a name coach, 10 million. You reap what you sow. The Legend 350 says Bronny definitely is not ready for the NBA. He needs more time in college. Absolutely. And what I've been saying, the Legend, and appreciate again you stopping by. I cannot thank you enough for being here. But I wanted to go ahead and mention to you that Bronny James, if he I understand he went through he also entered the transfer portal, but USC just changed out. They got a new coach there, Eric Musselman, solid coach. Coached at Arkansas and Nevada Reno. He is now the coach at USC. He needs a shooting guard. Boogie Ellis is in the draft because he's a 4-year player, so he's in the draft. Isaiah Collier forego his final years of eligibility, and he's in the draft. There's a wide open, gaping hole now at the USC shooting guard. And I'll tell you what, if he was smart, he would be heading back to USC where he can get all the reps he needs and all the shots he needs going up against the Big Ten competition, because that's where we're going. So Legend 370 says, okay, you got it. I will go ahead and I'll read that email for you right now. While we're on the air, go ahead and do that. Absolutely. Good evening. This is the Legend 350 from your live podcast. You told me something about podcast. I would love to come on and talk about it. Yep, absolutely. Tell you what, my friend, absolutely great. I just got it. Let's go ahead and do something here. Here very soon. I will reach out to you after the show tonight, and we'll set up a day and time where you can come on at length. I have guys from all over, like Alfred Esmond. I have guys from all over, specialists from all over, covering the NBA from each and every team, talking about just the NBA, about their teams, about the Lakers, about all the great things. So yeah, definitely would love to get the opportunity to have you come on our show. Definitely set up so where you can spend an hour, 2 hours, however long you like. We'd love to have you part of what we're doing here at the Lakers Fast Break, and love to have you stop on by. Absolutely. Truly appreciate it. Nets not restarting. They don't have picks. that's the thing. You're right, Tamarcus. They don't have picks, but let me ask you this, Tamarcus. Should they trade Bridges now? I mean, last summer they were offered reportedly what, 4 first-round draft picks, 3 or 4 first-round draft picks, I believe, for Mikal Bridges. Is it time now to trade Bridges after the down season that he and the Nets had? I'd really love to hear you and see if that's the case. But JSJ says put CB on the show. Absolutely. I would love to have him on the show. Absolutely. Going to have a great time talking the legend, but CB, you mean as far as, yeah, absolutely. Cool, bro. Well, he's on the Pop Culture Cosmos with me. If you're talking about CB, he's been on the Pop Culture Cosmos with me before talking Star Wars. Legend 350. Yeah, absolutely. I will go ahead and email you. We'll go ahead and work out a day and time that's convenient for you to come on, and definitely. And if you ever want Lakers stuff, as far as someone out there, talk Lakers on your show, we're always welcome to go ahead, and any one of us, me, myself, Sean, and Joe, the guy that's in the chat now, is Ox1947. Although if you bring him on the show, God help you. That's all I'll tell you. But it is, of course, the Lakers Fast Break. M24, my nose. Well, I'm out. Take care of that nosebleeder. There you go. Absolutely. But JSJ says Mikal Bridges is a good role player, not an all-star. Yeah. Tamarcus says Lakers would get outbid for Bridges by number. You're right, Tamarcus. There's where you're right. And that's something I'll go ahead before we head on out. I will say that you are absolutely right. The Lakers, if they have a target in mind, they only get, well, they don't have it yet, but after the first of the month in July, they have 3 first-round draft picks they can utilize, which would include also this year's as well, to utilize in a trade for whatever they can. But that is nothing compared to OKC, Utah, San Antonio, New York. I mean, those are just off the top of my head. Tamarcus, you're right. Absolutely right. Whatever the Lakers could offer, someone just can step in and offer more if they want. I mean, just OKC. OKC can throw out anything they want, any combination of picks and talent, young talent that they want to, and pretty much get what they want. It is just so enviable a position that they have going forward, that they have the ability to be at this level that they are at now for at least the rest of the decade. And I don't see any excuse why they won't be, outside of SGA getting hurt. There's absolutely no excuse. Because they have the talent and the picks to go ahead and make up for any other injury. You know, Holmgren gets hurt now. They can just go out and try and get themselves a center. Forward, like Williams gets hurt, the good Williams, yeah, they can just go ahead and recoup for that. SGA is the only player they really can't make up for, because how can you really make up for your best player, star player? But yeah, they're in such an enviable position. And David Griffith has talked about how he is going to retool this summer. He was very pissed off at the end how his season went for his team in New Orleans. They have a lot of assets going forward that they can go ahead and utilize, including the Lakers first round pick, which will most likely be next year. They're probably going to go ahead and allow the Lakers to pick this year and take their 25 pick in a much believed to be a much better draft. So they have assets. New York has a ton of assets, so they look good. Philadelphia has a ton of cap space. San Antonio has some picks. You were right about Brooklyn not having the picks that are out there. So yeah, if Bridges may be a name that's on the move, and could be a year too late for Brooklyn fans, because when they really could have gotten the best value for Bridges was last summer, excuse me. And that's going to, they're still going to get good value for him. But man, if they would have traded him last summer, they may have been a lot better off. Darren says, before you go, please don't forget to hit the like for the LFB. Thank you, Darren. Thank you, Xbox, for both mentioning it too during the course of the show. But about to head on out here, and I thank everybody. I just thought I'd stop on by, give you a recap of the game, my thoughts, and then hopefully Sean or Joe can stop by on Memorial Day, because we will have a Memorial Day show for you, because we like talking to you guys about the NBA and basketball. So we will have a show for you tomorrow. Tamarcus says, I'm in a lot of chats. Honestly, have to say the Celtics fans never talk about the Lakers. I know, Tamarcus. I've heard that before. You're not the first one, but the Lakers, we do have a fixation. I'm not going to lie to you, Tamarcus. We Lakers fans have a fixation on getting number 18 first. We really do, and I'm not ashamed of it. I don't think Joe's not ashamed of it, who's normally here with me. Same thing with Sean and our entire audience. Lakers fans has said that as well to Marcus. So we are fixated on that. Any Lakers fans that says they're not, it's just kidding themselves. We really want to be number 18 first, and should not be ashamed in doing so. But the problem is, to Marcus, we need an organization and especially at the very top, that knows what they're doing to get themselves in that position. And I'm not convinced that we do right now. I'm really not convinced. But Sports Baby, thank you for everything, man. Sports Baby, big shout out to you for the super chat. Big shout out to everyone who provided super chats on today's evening. And I'm so glad I stopped on by. Truly, yeah, Sports Baby. We didn't even talk about crack and cocaine on this episode. Absolutely. That was a wild episode last week when we went off the rails on that one. And again, if you want to see that, I'll let you see that. Maybe one of these days I'll chop it up and, as far as and put it out there on its own separate episode for you guys. I got to go ahead and see if I can find it and go ahead and lay it on out there. But Darren says Celtics will be beat by the Knicks next year when we trade LeBron. Oh, that. You know what? If it doesn't go well to start the season, LeBron may get a little bit angry. What happens to Bronny if he's not there with the Lakers? If he's drafted somewhere else? Who knows? Who knows? Tamarcus says Clutch would never allow LeBron to the Knicks because of CAA. That's a good point, Tamarcus. But you got to remember, Tamarcus. I don't know if you remember earlier this year, right around the time that LeBron did the hourglass thing on his tweet. Actually, we were live when he did that. And shortly thereafter, the Lakers went to MSG and played in the Knicks. He comes up with the Lakers outfit. It comes up with the Knicks outfit. He comes to the game in a whole Knicks regalia, Knicks outfit. Then after the game, he's having his post-game interview with the Knicks towel on. Very obvious in his own passive-aggressive way that so many people like myself don't exactly like, when he's always like that. So I don't want to put all odds against it to Marcus, but you're right. CAA Clutch, not exactly the most wonderful love fest in the world, but yeah. JSJ says JJ would be fired by that. JSJ, your disdain for JJ is duly noted, my friend. Duly noted. But yes, great to have everyone here, especially the new faces. Truly appreciate you taking the time to stop by. If you do like good basketball talk, it is a lot of Lakers talk, but we do cover the NBA whenever possible as well. It is the Lakers Fast Break. I do hope you consider liking and following and subscribing. And if you do know Lakers fans out there, we truly need and appreciate all the help out there in trying to get to the big boys, because I think that, we're here over 300 days of year. We're on here. We're on for you and doing Lakers talk for you. No matter where we're at or what we're doing, we try to be on for you as much as possible. Over 300 shows a year are on this channel. And I cannot thank you enough for taking the time out of your day to go ahead and doing that. Kurt says, thanks again for tracking that answer down. Always for you, Kurt. You've been such a great part of what we do. It is my pleasure doing it for you. If you guys are cool with us, I make sure I go out of my way to be cool to you guys. Now, Joe, that's a different story. You guys know Joe. And if those of you that don't, you will get to know Joe. He is one of a kind. He's very opinionated. I'll say that. And you're going to say he's a very divisive individual with his thoughts. That's why I put the disclaimer on all of our shows, because it is his opinion and his opinion only. And so many of you love it. So many of you hate it, but all of you watch it and you keep coming back, and we're glad to have you do so. But JSJ, appreciate it. The Legend 350, I'm going to hit you up, but send you an email. Just tell me a day and time, whatever's convenient to you as far as what we're going to work out. I'll tell you my schedule coming up here for the next couple of weeks, and we'll see what goes from there. I definitely want you here for Atlanta or GS when we do a specific show in August or early September on that, because we cover a team each and every time out. As you see on our NBA previews listing down below in the YouTube channel, we cover the NBA, each and every NBA team before the season starts with an expert from each team. But I would love to have you on before then talking the NBA and NBA finals and all that. So I could definitely see what we can work out. But yeah, I'll let you know my schedule up here in a few minutes. And, definitely love to have you back on, to talk hoops anytime, man. Sports Baby says Joe's the Italian stallion. That's one way you can say it. That's one thing you could say, Sports Baby. I agree with you that. Ison, what's your name? Oh, okay. I see you're talking over there. Kurt says, glad to have everyone here. Relatively new here. Please sub if you haven't. Absolutely. It really helps us out. I know every YouTuber out there ask for subs and subscribe. But if you're running a channel like I am, you understand, and they just beat you over the head at Google in the notes, obviously in the dashboard and all that stuff. As far as a creator, they beat you in the head to make sure you ask for the likes and the subscribes and all that stuff, because it really helps out and does this and does that. And like I said, it does really help us out. It does help get the word out there about what we do here at the Lakers Fast Break. Darren says Daredevil was good. Yeah, I'm looking forward to when the Daredevil series gets back up on Disney Plus. I'm looking forward to seeing what they'll do with Daredevil Born Again. I know they've had to restart it because Kevin Feige didn't like the way what happened, how many episodes they shot, didn't like it, so they scrapped it and they're redoing it again to probably come out sometime late next year. So definitely looking forward to that. Tamarka says you guys should want the Celtics to win. Maybe the Lakers would start questioning their organizational structure. Looking at it from that perspective, I understand that, Tamarcus. I just don't think with the people we have involved, Jeannie Abbas, who has had more losing seasons as governor of the Los Angeles Lakers than winning seasons, or I should say playoff seasons. She's had more non-playoff seasons than playoff seasons. I just don't think she is really into what she needs to be into when it concerns the Lakers. Rob Pelinka seems to always get a pass. Maybe it's because of the relationship to Kobe and firing him. I don't know, guilt, bad PR, what have you. But, it's just like you said, maybe that should give the incentive to the Lakers to do more, to take that next step. Maybe complacency is part of the problem. You may have that right on the nose, Tamarcus. So that is a great suggestion. Maybe the Celtics winning will spice things up for the Lakers and give them that incentive to do so. But in all actuality as well, shouldn't the Lakers be efforted or do everything they can within possibility while LeBron has that short window left of playing at a decent level, good level, elite level, whatever you want to say? He has that small window anyways of playing at the level. You should make every effort to try and build a championship team around him, period, along with AD. AD, how much longer does he have left? He signed that 4-year contract very quickly in November, late October, November. He signed that contract quickly. Why did he sign that quickly? Why did he leave money on the table? Because if he signed the extension this summer, it would have meant a lot more money. He knows something about his body that maybe we aren't privy to. And I think the fact that, he played 77 games, can you get another 77 game season out of him? That's something we all have to ask ourselves as well, as far as Lakers fans, because he is 31 now. He's going to be 32 at the, because by the end of next season. So he's not getting any younger as well. So that's something we don't, that's something we're going to be concerned with as Lakers fans going forward. Son, I appreciate all your input as well. Nice to know you as well. Cannot thank you enough for stopping by, as always. Truly appreciate it. JSJ says LeBron gets gas. Absolutely. Well, he's closing on Big 4-0, JSJ. I mean, you have to figure out a way to go ahead and find ways to help LeBron be better at the end of games, have more energy at the end of games. But the problem is, you need to have more surrounding him as far as elite playmakers that can help out a lot, LeBron in a pinch, so that LeBron can be a lot fresher at the end of games. And do you have enough assets to go ahead and get that number three guy? Because D'Angelo Russell is not a number three guy. I think if you want to keep him as your number 4 or your number 5 option, but as your number 3 option, it's just not getting it done, as we saw in the playoffs. So Kurt Ferris says, wouldn't the same be true of Boston? True. That's it's back and forth. Absolutely. Tamarcus says, don't be a prisoner of the moment. Minnesota looked unbeatable until they didn't, and now Dallas looks unbeatable until they do. Sure, that's a good point, Tamarcus. You're sounding very wise there. So I will compliment you on that. Minnesota did look like they were going to be the team. I had picked them to go ahead after they dispatched of Phoenix. I said if they kept playing like that they did against Phoenix, they were going to be the team to beat. And look at them. So I've been proven wrong. And Dallas has been getting it done. Dallas and Boston especially. I will give Boston credit on this. Boston, because they've had such an easy go of it, they were thought of as a team that maybe couldn't get it done down the stretch, that Tatum and Brown would choke when the games are really close. And the close games that they've had against Indiana, Boston has made all the right moves and Indiana has choked. Sorry, sports baby. I'm truly sorry about that, but Indiana has made the mistakes, and unfortunately, Indiana has paid the price. Boston's been the benefactor of it, and looks like it's going to be Boston, Dallas in the finals on the 6th. So, Eisen says, do you think Sam Cassell will be a better coach than Darvin Ham? That's a good question. I think so, but the problem is Sam Cassell is now in that Darvin Ham territory where he's been around the league for many years now as an assistant coach. Why hasn't he gotten the head coaching gig? Because he's interviewed before for head coaching gigs and not gotten the job. Sam Cassell is a known, you knew what he was as a player. He's very well known as a player. He wasn't a star, but he was a role player that you knew of, championship winning player, been on a lot of teams now and been assistant coach for quite a few years. Why hasn't he gotten the gig as of yet? So we'll see. I think Boston's better, but have to see it play out. Well, they're won 60 plus games, Tamarcus. How can you go wrong? I hear Vegas, and they're the betting favorite right now. And with all that they won so far in the NBA season, plus the fact they've only lost twice, they do deserve to be the favorite, and I'll have to give them that. But like Kurt says, if Porzingis comes back healthy, who does Dallas usually have guarding him? You'd have to put the faith into Gafford, and also hopefully Lively comes back, because that's what you got. And that's a good 7-footer combo to go against it, because you've got Horford and Porzingis versus Lively and Gafford. Porzingis has the edge there, you would think, because of what he can do, stretch the floor, but also has a pretty good post-up game. So if he comes back healthy, that's going to make it very difficult for Dallas to overcome, but we'll see. JSJ says now the Lakers can interview Mika Nori. Yeah, they do have the time that they can interview Mika Nori. So Joe talked about his thoughts on Mika Nori last week on what he thought of Mika Nori. A fiery guy, but does he have the respect of LeBron? That's the thing. This team is committing to LeBron very soon on a 3-year, most likely 2 + 1, $160 million contract. So the Lakers are committing to LeBron. So will LeBron has to have a coach? You're still hiring a coach to make LeBron and AD happy. And that's the thing. SD Hydro says, yeah, good point. Maxi Kleber. Maxi Kleber could be back by the 6th, SD Hydro. Because remember, Maxi Kleber, he was given, they were going to reevaluate him. I don't know if Frank's still in the chat, but I think they were going to evaluate him after 3 weeks after he got the injury, which was game 5, I think, in round 1. It was supposed to be 3 weeks, and then they evaluate him. Possibility that he could be back in and around the 6th of June. And that would give Dallas a big guy who can stretch the floor. So always a good thing that you can have if that's the case. But Tamarcus says KP faces old team. That'll be very interesting. Tingus Pingus himself. The reason why that's fun, I just saw the video the other day. I forget who it was that passed it to me. That told me about Tingus Pingus. So I had never seen the video or heard the video, but Tingus Pingus. If you look that up on YouTube, Tingus Pingus, it will make you laugh your butt off. It is so funny. As my daughter said as she was walking by when I was watching it, she said that is the most New York thing I have ever seen. It was hilarious. SD Hydra says Porzingis and Luka. Yeah, they did not get along. SD. Yeah, they did not get along. And I'm sure you'll read and hear more about that because it would Dallas and Boston meeting up in the finals, most likely starting on the 6th. You're going to get all those background stories on what happened in Dallas, most likely from ESPN's Tim McMahon, who was privy to a lot of that during his time in Dallas. M. Easy says, I think Mavs in 6. Brown will be worn down trying to guard Luka. His offense will suffer. Question though, okay, you're saying Brown's going to be guarding Luka, so you don't think Holiday and or Derek White is going to be guarding Luka? I don't know. I would put Holiday on Luka and see what happens there, and White on Kyrie, and start off with that. What's up, Rel? Congratulations, my friend, Rel. Appreciate. I'm so happy for you. 3-0, 1 game away from the NBA Finals. Give Big Rel a shout out. It is We Talk Mavs. If you're a big supporter of We Talk Mavs, go ahead and become a big supporter by liking and subscribing to We Talk Mavs. They do a great job there. Rel is absolutely happy and ecstatic, of course, that they are 1 game away. Although, Rel, you can't really tease and say things about Jason Kidd now. I was telling Frank, Jason Kidd kind of gets a pass for now because of the run to the finals. So, guys, you're. I know I saw the Twitter, so I'm going to go ahead and retweet that here in a little bit as well. But yeah, Rel, you guys can't give any heat to Kidd because they're going to the final. I don't know how you feel about that, or how your crowd feels about it. I have been in your guys' chat and watched your guys' chat to see your disdain for Kidd over the years. So yeah, interesting to see how Kidd, Dwight Powell, THJ, those guys are on the verge of an NBA Finals, and those guys have been a bane of your guys' existence for quite some time now. So it's going to be funny to see if any of them contribute to a Mavericks win as far as the NBA Finals are concerned. Rel says we love what he's doing. Yeah, absolutely. I don't blame you a bit. 100%, my friend. 100%. Tamarcus says, Kurt, the question is, can Boston make Kyrie and Luka play defense, which the Timberwolves have not done? They played a little bit better defense. Game 1, I think that Luka and Kyrie did play effective enough defense to get the job done, especially when they were holding Ant in the first 2 games to really subpar shooting. I mean, the defense, and Rel could probably tell you better than I can because he's part of We Talk Mavs. But yeah, the defense that they've done on both Ant and Cat has been the key to their series, in my opinion. Although Ant did play better, much better today, including that tremendous dunk, Cat has not shown up for 3 games. And, this big, best shooting big man moniker that Cat was trying to give himself, and that's been ridiculous. Obviously, those were words that he probably now regrets, because shooting 0 for 8 from 3-pointer today on 3-pointers was absolutely something that didn't get it done. These are the differences. The poor shooting by Cat on each of the 3 games has been the difference, and the poor shooting by Ant in games 1 and 2 was the difference right there. So, Bloodhound says Cat tired out from shooting 1,500 shots during practice. No excuses right there. It doesn't matter what you're shooting in practice. You're not getting it done. Absolutely not getting it done when his team needed to get it done the most. And he had already started to get the little bit of reputation for being a James Harden that doesn't get it done in the postseason. Even though he had only had a few games, he was starting to get that little sample size. And after a decent and at times pretty good series against Denver, he has reverted back to the player that has not shown up. And again, it'd be interesting to see, but if I was Minnesota, I would probably be looking to move him to see if I can move that contract. But as was mentioned, $60 million a year, you're going to need some assets to move along with it. But I don't know, keeping Cat on that team going forward, especially if he's not getting it done for you. Yeah, you're right, Bloodhound. Change his nickname to Can't, because he can't do it. He's not doing it indeed. But SD says Boston fans are going to be salty about Kyrie saging the garden back when he was, SD game 1 and game 2, when Kyrie gets the ball, he is going to hear it. And if he doesn't hear it from fans, I'll be surprised. I will be surprised. Tamarcus says Minnesota haven't put them action. It's just a lot of ISOs, Tamarcus. A lot of things that we see with the Lakers. I noted that earlier in the series where they just get bad. They just go into bad offensive sets, just like the Lakers really had those bad habits of getting themselves into ISO ball. And instead of moving the ball around, ball or man, they get into ISO sets, and it really, really is a detriment to running good offenses. And Dallas, you could always see everything runs through Luka, but Luka or Kyrie, and they go back and forth, but both can make plays. And I think that's what a big difference of this series as well. And Rel and Frank can tell you better than I can, because they follow the Mavs 100%. Those two as playmakers obviously is a big benefit and very much of a help, because they can really, it puts a lot more pressure on them, but to get it done, but they're used to that kind of pressure and to be able to execute. Whereas Minnesota, asking Ant to be a playmaker, or Conley at his age to be a playmaker, has obviously not been able to get it done in the series. Tamarcus says, I would put Luka in every pick and roll, at least make him work on that end. You're right. To see how bad that knee is. Just try to test that knee to see what you can do. And they haven't been doing a good job of doing that on Minnesota's end. It's just too much ISO. And that's a part of the problem right there. Luka is unstoppable offense, so making him tired is your only option. That's a good point, Tamarcus. Absolutely. Get him tired out, so that step back three is going to be a lot tougher to make for him if he's a little bit more winded. And I agree with you there, but Minnesota has not done a good job of picking on him or Kyrie. Kyrie and Luka have seemingly been able to pick their spots very well in the series. And all the credit to them, and also Jason Kidd for being able to help point that out and providing a platform in order for them to go ahead and flourish, as opposed to what could have easily been done with two very ball dependent players. It could have gone easily very wrong with that, but we're, like in Phoenix, for instance, you saw it go wrong there with two very ball dominant players in Durant and Booker. And of course, with Doncic and Kyrie, that has definitely not been the case. Kurt Affair says Luka gets tired of defense, but that knee is healthy enough. Yeah, I called it the trick knee, Kurt. I called it the trick knee because it seemingly looks a lot better on one end of the floor than the other. But I do, anybody who tells me that he's questionable and he's going to test it out to see if he's going to make, we all knew that he was going to play. Anybody who was thinking for a moment that he wasn't going to play is just being naive. Tamarcus, both series are over. Statistically, they are over. No team has ever come back from a 3-0 deficit in the NBA playoffs. Darren says, will we have two gentlemen sweeps or it's over? Well, Darren, Indiana does not have Tyrese Halliburton for game 4. So I think that series is over. I think Indiana, sorry, sports baby, when I say this, but Indiana has had their best shots. They had 2 shots that they could have won the game in 2 games, and they didn't get it done. I think that's it. Minnesota, will Cat finally show up in game 4? If he does, it'll take it back to Minnesota, but you're just delaying the inevitable. You might as well give it to Dallas and let them go ahead and see what they can do to finish off the Celtics, hopefully starting on June the 6th. But JSJ says, I blame Doc Rivers for all this. Blame Doc Rivers for everything. But Tamarcus says game 3 was the best chance for the Patriots and the Wolves. Yeah, it was. But remember, game 2 and game 1, they were I mean, difference on Minnesota, difference between that is 3 points was the difference combined for both those games in game 1 and game 2 for the Wolves. They had every opportunity to win those games and they didn't. And the Pacers had game 1 and game 3 and they didn't get it done. Tamarcus says Dallas and Boston will be fun. 73s taking each game if you like that. Yeah, if you like threes, if you like up-tempo offenses, although Indiana would have been really interesting to see that team in the NBA Finals. That's because they really have an up-tempo offense. But Dallas, I know, sometimes slows down the pace with Luka, but we'll see what happens. But they both love to throw up threes. And so if you're into shooting a lot of threes, this is going to be a series for you. If you're not, if you're more old school and you like those 90 to 80 clashes down under, you like a lot of trips to the basket, like a lot of free throws in your game, this may not be the series for you, but we'll see. But again, I've been here almost 2 hours, and I wanted to go ahead and thank you so much. Been hearing me rant for 2 hours. I appreciate you staying with me, everyone. It is Gerald Glassford. We will be bringing you more this week, and I'm going to give a big shout out again to everybody out there that took the time to go ahead and stop on by tonight on this Memorial Day holiday weekend. I want to give a big shout out to those who have served for our country, both who have died in their service for our country and those who are still around, whether you're retired or you're still active in the military. Wanted to give a big shout out to each and every one of you. Our thoughts are with you and your families this Memorial Day weekend. And for everyone out there, just stay safe, put some food on the grill, make sure you have some good cooking. And I truly appreciate each and every one of you being a part of what we do. I will be back tomorrow talking about what happened in game 4 for Indiana and Boston. And if there's any Lakers news, there will be probably sometime this week. But if there's any Lakers news, you know there's going to be me talking about it, Sean talking about it, Joe talking about it. Maybe John Costa will stop on by, talk about it. Alfred Esmond may stop on by as well this week. Stone Hansen, who knows, will be part of what we're doing each and every time out. The legend, 350. I'm going to try and get him on here ASAP. So I'll tell you what, all of these great people will stop on by. So you don't have to hear just me talking to you each and every time out right here at the Lakers Fast Break Podcast. Thanks so much, Kurt. Thanks so much, everyone, for being a part. Tamarcus, big shout out to you. Anyone out there that's new, please like and subscribe to get the latest notifications on when we go live right here on the Lakers Fast Break Podcast.